Hello everybody and welcome to the channel, Out of Ammo, Out of Time. I'm your host as always, Krabby Terror 8. Here we are in episode 48, yes episode 48 of season 2 of the Investigator Games. Yes, we are back at the Midnight Masks with the Scarlet Keys Investigators, and we're kicking off with everybody's favourite doctor and medic, Vincent Lee. Yes, and for those of you who are new to the channel, new to the Investigator Games, I welcome you heartily. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We really reached a milestone this week, over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. It's taken 5 years, but we eventually got there. I'm really delighted that so many people enjoy the Investigator Games as much as I do. And yes, we are still going strong after 5 years, and we will keep going. And today was a special day as well, because we found out that we will have a new set of investigators in the new year to take through the Gathering and the Midnight Masks. So it never ends. Will we get to the Devourer below? Your guess is as good as mine. We'll try. We've still got time. So it's only August, so we've still got time. So maybe we will get that far, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, so yes, so if you are new to the Investigator Games, what is it like? Well, it's a league, really. We take each investigator true solo through a scenario. In Season 1, that is the Gathering, and we have completed that with all investigators, 53 of them. And we are now back in the Midnight Masks, and we take them through a scenario, and we see how they go. And depending on how they go, they end up in a league table like this one. Everybody from the very top all the way down to the very bottom. And we can see everybody there, yes. And yeah, so Leo and Monterey Jack are at the top of the table with 15 points. Yes, they have 15 points there, first and second. They've managed to get 5 cultists between the two of them. Roland Banks coming in third, Ashcam Pete in fourth. And then we have a few others after that, going all the way down to the very bottom, where we have poor old Calvin, poor old Jim, Daisy, Norman, Patrice, and Carolyn at the bottom with very few points and no cultists. So this really does separate the champions from the strugglers. This scenario, Midnight Masks, it really is very challenging to play true solo. Nobody has gotten all of the cultists. Very difficult to do because we're talking about not optimized decks either. So it's true solo and not optimized decks, and we will talk about that in a moment. So yes, no spoilers. If you are new to Arkham Horror the card game, or you have never played the Midnight Masks before, I would really suggest that you do that first, because I'm expecting that you know this scenario and you know how to play a little bit, but I do recognize that people come here to see how to play or to check out new investigators. Also, shout out to my in-depth analysis of the Midnight Masks. Myself and some other content creators put together everything you could ever want to know about the Midnight Masks: lore, story, gameplay, strategy, you name it. It's here, and there's a video of that on my channel. So yes, here we are with Vincent Lee back again. Now what we're going to do is I am just going to go through his card again, mainly for my purposes. I would also say if you haven't seen Vincent in action in Season 1, I would recommend you see that first, because the points he got so many points in Season 1 at the Gathering, those carry over to the Midnight Masks. So it might be worthwhile seeing him there. Also, I'm not going to go through his starter deck in detail in Season 2. I did that in Season 1. So if you want to see my thoughts on his starter deck, I would go and have a look at Season 1. But we'll go through his card first. Then I'll talk about the upgrades that I made with his 6 points that he had. And then we can kick off. We wait for the horn, and we can kick off the scenario. So yes, Vincent Lee, we can see there his stat line: 3 willpower, 4 intellect, 3 fight, and 1 agility. So yes, he is a seeker, so you would hope he has a higher intellect. His fight and his willpower are also pretty good as well, so that makes him reasonably well-rounded. So not bad for a true solo kind of player. The only thing is he's got a very, very low agility stat, which means that you might struggle with him in certain scenarios or campaigns like the Forgotten Age. So yeah, that's something that if you were going to do true solo, then you would want to shore that up. But for multiplayer, perfectly fine. And in fact, he does add well to multiplayer because he does have his effect here, which is a reaction trigger. After one of your card effects heals damage from an investigator or an investigator's ally asset, which could be Vincent, but could be others. Add one of your set aside on the mend skills to that investigator's hand. And we have, because there's one of us, we do have one there. So on the mend, we'll quickly look at that just so we know something about that. So on the mend, it's a skill card. So it has 2 wildcard icons. So it operates a little bit like unexpected courage, I suppose. In fact, very similar. You can only have 1 in your hand. Commit it to a test you are performing. And when on the mend, would be discarded from anywhere, set it aside out of play instead. So that means you can get it back. So it's a sort of a recurring card for you. So yes. So really, essentially, it's like a cycling unexpected courage, sort of similar in that way, except of course unexpected courage goes straight to your discard. So there we go. And the Elder Sign effect is a +1. You can heal 1 damage from an investigator or ally asset at your location. And of course, if you heal that, then you add one of the set aside on the mend skills to that investigator's hand. So there you go. That's how that works. I will find the answers, even if it kills me. 9 strength, 6 mental strength. So we can see there. Yeah, so pretty robust from that perspective as well. So there we go. Now, if we flip over Vincent's card and we just have a look at his deck building, he takes Seeker cards 0 to 3, neutral cards 0 to 5, and cards that heal damage levels 0 to 5. So any cards that heal damage and up to 15 other Guardian and or Survivor cards level 0 to 1. So there's a lot of flexibility around what he can take if you want to build him that way. So he can sort of play that sort of Guardian, Seeker, Supporter in terms of providing people with healing, that kind of thing. So yeah, quite a good card. I haven't seen him played much, to be honest. Doesn't seem to be a popular investigator around the places. I haven't seen him used much, but maybe he's a favorite of yours. If he is, let me know what you like about playing Vincent. Now, if we look at what else he has, his signature card is the Bone Saw. It's a 3-cost asset with 3 pips. Quite a grisly card, but it is a great card for a hand slot. So he's like a kind of fighter seeker in that way. You get +2 for the attack, and if this attack is successful, you can take 1 damage and deal +1 damage for this attack. So that's kind of synergistic because he's about healing, but you can use, essentially that means that you're using your health as a resource in that way. You can also take an action to heal 5 damage from an investigator at your location. Test 4 book. If you fail, that investigator suffers a physical trauma max once per game. So you want to really make sure you can pass that test because, you don't want physical trauma popping up too often. There we go. Now, the other card, of course, is the On the Mend, which we talked about. So you get 1 copy of On the Mend in your deck, and then you start with a copy set aside out of play. So when there's one of you that you get, when it's solo, you get 1 of each. And obviously, if there are more investigators, then there are more of them. And then we can see here, wounded bystander is a weakness on death's doorstep. Put wounded bystander into play in your play area with 3 damage on it. It cannot leave play while it has damage unless it is defeated. So there's 2 ways wounded bystanders can go. They can die, essentially, or they can be healed. If there is no damage, discard it. When you take non-direct damage, at least one of it must be assigned to wounded bystander. And if wounded bystander is defeated, you suffer a mental trauma. So, yeah, I suppose it's forcing you to really, you're a doctor. If someone's wounded, you attend to them. So there's a nice thematic story aspect to it. I really, really like that about Vincent. They've done a really good job there. Weakness, random weakness we drew was drawing the sign, which is you put it into your threat area. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 5 during the upkeep, and you can discard it with 2 actions. So it's one of those cards that can be frivolous if it happens later in the game. It can be pretty terrible earlier in the game. So it really depends when that comes up. So there we go. That's sort of all the standard cards. And then if we have a look at Vincent's backstory, after the 3rd or 4th mutilated body showed up during his time at St. Mary's Hospital in Arkham, Vincent Lee began to suspect that there were not mere wild animal attacks. When a young man died screaming in his sleep from a burst heart, Vincent knew for a fact that dark times were ahead. Taking a leave of absence from his position at the hospital, he has set out to ease the suffering of those afflicted by the spreading chaos, hoping that the trail of bodies will lead him to the answer he craves. So there we go. That's Vincent's card in a nutshell. Now, I had 6 XP from the first season to upgrade his deck. Now, the decks are starter decks. Everybody in the Investigator Games starts with a standard starter deck. FFG used to supply these, but now we make them up ourselves. And basically, a starter deck has to take cards from the core set and from the campaign where the investigator came from, which of course in this case was the Scarlet Keys. So I'm not going to go through all the cards. If you want to see that, as I said, you can go back to season 1, but I did use a 6 XP and essentially made a couple of changes, and they were that I took out the medical texts. I'm not a big fan of medical texts. And I took out the base deduction, and in place of them, I took the hiking boots. Really like the hiking boots. It's a great card. Couple of reasons. I get +1 to agility. Well, that helps my agility because it's only 1, so that increases that to 2. And this is a really great effect for the Midnight Masks, where time is of the essence. After the last clue is discovered from your location, you can exhaust hiking boots and move to a connecting location with at least 1 clue, or to a connecting unrevealed location. So it's essentially like a kind of a shortcut effect. And so that's really, really handy in the Midnight Masks. So I thought that was a great addition to Vincent's deck. And then the other thing is I just did an upgraded deduction. So basically you could discover an additional clue or 2 additional clues if you succeed by 2 or more. Now, I'm not sure, maybe the benefit of that isn't as great as it perhaps seems, to be honest, because in true solo you're often only dealing with 2 clues anyway. But there can be situations where there are more than 2 clues, and so it seemed like a good upgrade as well. So there we go. Don't know what you think. It was just, just had the 6 XP, so added those into the deck. There we go. So let's close and shuffle that up. We're playing in standard difficulty in the Midnight Masks here. And so Vincent is at the house. Thank you again to Arkham Trailers for providing trailers. We're here at Arkham early in the morning when we're allowed to film before the peak hour traffic. Vincent is at the house, just surveying the house at the moment. The crowds are around Arkham waiting for him to see how he goes in the Midnight Masks. I had a chat to him in the trailer before we started. He was pretty happy with his performance in Season 1, and he's hoping that that will be the case in Season 2, although, as he says, if he finds any wounded bystanders along the way and people are suffering, he will have to stop and help them. Hopefully that won't happen, though, and he will be able to get through it fairly fast, because time as well as XP is important as to where you end up on the table. But he's got a big hill to climb because, top of the table they've gotten 5 cultists, which is not an easy task when you're playing true solo. So as we're waiting for the horn to go off, let's read the action, the agenda deck. So the agenda, predator or prey. It seems like forever since I did the Midnight Masks. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. Action, resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you've gathered. And uncovering the conspiracy, you have 1 night to find members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. Investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group to draw the top card of the cultist deck. Find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultists in the victory display, then you may advance. So, yeah, there it goes. There goes the horn. The crowd goes wild. Vincent waves his bone saw in the air. And we are ready to play episode 48 of Season 2 of the Investigator Games. Okay, so what do we want? Well, obviously, having Dr. Malign Christopher would be awesome to start with. That's always a great start. Having a weapon is also important. And apart from that, the important things are going to be things like having, the deduction and things like that, so we can move as quickly as possible. It would be really great to get the hiking boots as well. So let's shuffle up and let's draw many. Let's draw our 5, see what we get. Okay. Well, there's no Malign Christopher here, but we do have the machete. So I do want to keep the machete. And really, physical training is not much help without Malign Christopher, because we need him to generate resources. Vicious Blow is good against the Masked Hunter. So what I might do is I might throw these 3 in and draw 3 more. 1, 2. Oh, there's the hiking boots. 3. Okay, no Malign Christopher. That's kind of annoying, but we've got some other things. So not a perfect draw, but okay. In this case, we've got plenty of ways to fight, if nothing else. So yeah, that's okay. That's all right. So let's kick off. What are we going to do? Well, first action, let's spend 3 and bring out the machete. Yeah, we're not playing taboo here. So we've got the machete, so we've got a weapon on board. Second action, I'm going to avail myself of the facilities and draw a card and gain a resource. So let's draw a card. Oh boy. And take a resource. Wow. Oh, wow. It's better to get it out the way early. Okay. Maximum hand size is reduced by 5. So we have to get rid of 1 card, basically. Which card? Probably the physical training at the moment. Yeah. Let's get rid of the physical training. Okay. Well, it's better that it's now. And we've got 1 action left. So I think for my final action, I will pay 2. And I'll bring out the hiking boots. Le hiking boots. Okay, so we've got le hiking boots out. So that means we're now running at a 2 agility. So that's nice. So that's our third action. Okay. So a bit of a setup phase, really, with a weakness, but our weakness came in, which was a bit of a problem, but not the end of the world. So we brought out the machete, we drew a card and gained a resource, and then we brought out, we got drawing the sign, which means we lost physical training, and then we brought out the hiking boots. So next time we can get the clue, and we can start moving through in that way. Okay, so that's the first investigation phase gone. We move into the enemy phase, or the enema phase, yes, as I like to call it. No enemies or enemas to speak of. We move into upkeep. There he is. Better late than never. Malign Christopher is here. Just a bit low on the old monies, so that's a bit of a problem. Yes, so we will move into the mythos phase. The first doom is down. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and the encounter deck has a locked door. Okay. Oh boy, it's really a bit rough at the moment. Send to the back. So that means that attached to it with most clues, well, there's only this location. At least it's not the good old Miskatonic University. For some reason, that has been very popular with the locked door. We can either kick it down or punch it, or pick the lock. We're definitely not picking the lock, but even breaking it down is going to be a problem. So because, yeah, I guess we can use our overpower probably. Yeah, we can do all of that. Yeah, so it's whether it's worthwhile getting the clue or moving on. Anyway, so let's move in to the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Vincent. Now, this is the problem in the Midnight Mask. You can really get caught up doing stuff that really doesn't get you anywhere. So the question is, do we get rid of drawing the sign and move on? Or do we get rid of drawing the sign and try and break this locked door so we can get at this clue? Yeah, actually we can't use our machete, so we would be running at a 3, a 5 versus a 4. That doesn't feel like a great thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of drawing the sign. I'm going to get rid of that, 2 actions, and then next action I'm just going to move on. There's no point messing around, because we're going to be using resources trying to break down the door. It's only 1 clue. Let's leave it and let's move on. So again, a bit of a nothing phase, really. We just got rid of our weakness and we just moved up to Rivertown. So next time we can get this clue, and that will allow us to use hiking boots to move to a location. So that will be quite handy, because that will save us an action. Okay, so let's move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies. Let's move into upkeep. We get the magnifying glass. Okay, that's good. That's a good card to get, except we kind of need to get Malign Christopher out first, probably, I would say. But yes. Anyway, there we go. So let's move into the second mythos phase. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and it's got another locked door. Oh, Midnight Masks, where have you been? Oh, where have you been? Oh. I did shuffle. I did shuffle the encounter deck, I promise you. No. Oh, what? Oh, boy. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh boy. All right, back into the investigation page. 3 actions. On to Vincent. Okay, so do we cut our losses again and move on? Or do we try and get these clues? Oh boy. Like I said, I could try again with a 5 versus a 4, but it just feels like it's just wasting time. So no, I'm not going to do that. What am I going to do instead? I am going to I mean, we could get out Milan Christopher. It's whether I go into the graveyard now or leave the graveyard to the end. I'm actually thinking I might leave it to the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to Miskatonic University. Yep, first action. Second action, I'm going to take a resource, and then final action, I'm going to spend it on Milan Christopher and bring out Milan Christopher, which is a very, very inefficient way of doing things, but I really want him on the board because now we are running at a 5. Next time I can bring out the magnifying glass. That's going to give us a 6 on a 4, so that's pretty good, and we can start getting some more resources. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So hopefully we can start getting some cultists because it's already turn 3 and we've got none so far. So again, a bit of a nothing round. We moved to Miskatonic University. We got a resource and we brought out Milan Christopher. So next time we can do something about that. Okay, let's move into the enemy phase. There are still no enemies, thank goodness. We move into upkeep. We get the 45 automatic, which is great, but we've got no money for that, so we'll just keep that on the back burner until a little bit later when we can bring that out for maybe for the Mars Hunter or something like that. So let's move into turn 4. It's the Mythos phase 3 Doom. We're halfway through the agenda. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. Let's see what the encounter deck has. Oh, I can't believe this. Wings of Darkness. Wings of Darkness, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, test 4. If you fail, take a damage and a horror. We are going to fail this. There is no question about that. Let's see what we get. We get a -1, so we're 0, so we fail. We take a damage and a horror. We'll put the horror onto Milan. We'll take the damage. Yep. And then we move back to Rivertown. Oh boy, we're really being stymied about doing anything here, aren't we? Anyway, there we go. Let's move into the investigation phase 3 actions onto poor old Vincent. Okay, right. Now we can start doing stuff. So the first thing we're going to do, no, it's a free action. We're going to spend a resource and we're going to bring out the magnifying glass. So that's the first thing we're going to do. It's fast, so it doesn't cost us anything. We're then going to move to Miskatonic University. And then we're going to start investigating. Okay, so we're going to be investigating at a 4, a 5, a 6. 6 on a 4, we're 2 up. Let's just go ahead and do that. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has. And it has a cultist, which is -2. Place a doom on the nearest cultist enemy, and there are none. So we get that clue. And we'll go again. Oh, and we get a resource. Thank you for reminding me. You're all screaming, get the resource. And we get a resource. And then we will go again. We get a -1. So we get another clue. We get another resource. Nice. And also, because of that, after the last clue is discovered, exhaust hiking boots. Yep. And move to a connecting location, which is either unrevealed. So we can either move to St. Mary's Hospital or we can move up to Northside. And I think we will move up to Northside. There we go. Okay, and we will uncover that. And, yep. 2 clues there. Brilliant. Okay. Now we're starting. Now we're cooking with gas. Things are starting to actually take shape. So that was a much better round. So we started at Rivertown. We brought out the magnifying glass, which was a fast action. We then moved to Miskatonic University. We then investigated twice at Miskatonic University. And I forgot to mention, we get a victory point there and the crowd goes wild. Yes, we get a victory point at Miskatonic University. So we've got our first victory point as well. And then we used our hiking boots to move up to Northside. So next time we can bring out our first cultist, which is great. And we can start to get some cultists out, which is just as well. So that was much better. Okay, let's move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of, so we move into upkeep and we get the dissection tools, which is really nice if we can get that down on the table. The problem is that we've got no more hand slots. Yeah, so yes, unfortunately. Anyway, good card, but isn't really one. I really want to keep both of these cards at the moment because getting clues is of the essence. So there we go. Let's move in to the Mythos phase. There is 4 of 6 down, so time is of moving on. Let's see what the counter deck has, and of course it has a Hunting Night Gaunt. Well, this is going to take some time. It's a Hunting Night Gaunt engaged with us. We're really being stymied at every turn from doing anything. So let's move into the investigation phase. We're obviously not going to try and evade the Hunting Night Gaunt. There would be no point because our agility is only 2. Yeah, we have a couple of cards where we could try, but I'm not throwing in all these cards just to evade. So I think the best thing to do is to attack the Hunting Night Gaunt. And then it's a hunter, so then we won't have it messing around with us for the rest of the game. So what are we? It's a 3 fight. And we are a 4. We've got a base of 4. 3 versus 4. What do we do? So we could really deal with it quick and bring out the vicious blow. The problem with that is then we're yeah, well, what if we did that? Let me think about this. So we are a 4. That would give us a 5. And we would do 3 points of damage. Problem is he's 4 points, so 3 points is not going to cut it. So it's going to take, 2 actions, whatever we do. So it's going to take 2 actions, whatever we do. So I think I'm going to throw in Overpower. So that gives us a 3, 4, 6. 6 on a 3, that's pretty good. 6 on a 3, let's see what the Chaos Bag has, and it's got a +1. So we succeed and do 2 damage. And we get to draw a card. We get another Malign Christopher. 1 is more than enough. And then we can attack at 4. That was our first action. So let's do a 4 versus a 3, because I don't really want to use any of these. Let's see how we go. 1 up. 4 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. So we succeed and we kill the Night Gaunt. That's great. We've got 1 action left. 1 action left. What do we do? Yes. What do we do? Well, we could either investigate for a clue, or we could throw in our clues and see which cultist we get. There's a danger, though, that we will get the cultist up here at Northside, which would be a slight problem because we don't have enough resources. So I'm actually thinking I'll investigate. So I've got enough resources next time, if, should that eventuate. So let's go ahead. It's a 3 and we are a 4, 5, 6. A 3 versus a 6. 3 versus 6 is pretty good. Let's go ahead and do that. 3 versus 6. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we succeed. We get a resource. So there we go. Okay, not too bad. We took 2 actions to kill the Night Gaunt, and we then successfully investigated here at Northside. So next time we can bring out a cultist, get this final clue, but then we've got to prepare for the good old Masked Hunter who's going to be coming along as well. So yeah, things are going okay, but they've been a bit slow for old Vincent. So let's move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies. Let's move into upkeep, and we get hyper awareness. Okay, that's a good card. Might be worthwhile bringing out because it gives us boosts to our intellect, but also agility, which is something that we need, particularly if we get the good doctor at St. Mary's Hospital who has a 5 agility, I think, that we have to evade. That could be a handy card for that. Anyway, let's move into the upkeep mythos phase. Sorry, there are 5 doom down, so this is going to flip next time. Let's see what the encounter deck gets, and we get Crypt Chill. Crypt Chill, okay. Test 4 willpower, and then we have to lose something. Ooh, now we don't have any willpower pips, and we are a 3, so we are heading for a failure here. So we're going to have to decide what gets lost in the process. I'm pretty sure I know which. I think we'd probably go for Malign Christopher, simply because we've got another one. So, all right, let's see what the Chaos Bag has. -3, yes, so we fail. Let's remove Malign Christopher. Yep, and then we can always bring him back. Okay. All right, let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions. On to Vincent. Right, so the Mouse Hunter is going to be upon us soon. So, okay. So I think the first thing we do is bring out a cultist. It's about time we brought one out. So let's spend 2 clues. That's right, isn't it? It's been a while. Yes, spend 2 clues. Let's see who we get. Let's shuffle this up. And we get Ruth Turner. I was talking about Ruth Turner. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem for us because we've either got to fight her, which is not too difficult to fight, or we have to evade her with a 5. Yeah, okay. Second action, I think we spend 4. And we bring out another Malign Christopher. He's back. And then third action, I think we investigate. So we're investigating again at a 4, a 5, a 6. 6 versus 3. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has. Oh, it's got an Elder Sign. Yay! Elder Sign. You may heal 1 damage from an investigator. Yes, we can heal a damage. And because we did that, you can add 1 of your set aside on the men skills to your deck. I think that's right. It's just you can't have more than 1 in your hand. Is that right? Or in your deck? Sorry, I better just double check that. I could be doing something slightly illegal here. Limit to 1 in your hand. Okay, that's fine. Yep. So we've just got 2 of them in our hand. So add 1 of the, yeah. So there's none set aside now. We've got 2 in our deck. So there we go. So that means we get that clue. We get a resource, and the crowd goes wild because we get another victory point. Yeah, we're getting the victory points, so that's great. And because we've gotten all the clues, we can exhaust the good old hiking boots, and we can move. Now, we can move down to Miskatonic University. That way, I think I'm going to move to downtown. I'm going to move across. Yes, I'm going to move across. Heal 3 horror. Well, we don't need to heal any horror at the moment. But that means we can evade the Masked Hunter, and then we can move away fairly easily. So the main thing is now is I think we've still got 2 clues. So the good news is we can bring out another cultist because we haven't got any cultists yet. Ah, boy, the Midnight Mask. But at the very least, we can bring out another cultist, and hopefully we can get that. The graveyard is another obvious place to get quick clues, but the problem is that it's a bit of a dead end, and we don't want to get cornered by the Masked Hunter either. So anyway, let's move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of. So let's move into upkeep and we get perception. Okay, good card. Nice. So let's move into the mythos phase. There are the 6 doom. And it's now going to flip. Let's flip this. And of course, there he is. Hello, Vincent. Oh, you got on the boots, eh? And you're with Milan. Oh, machete. Oh, magnifico. Oh, okay. Well, I'm still going to bash you. Look, I've got a cookery, too. Yes, so the Masked Hunter is on us. He's 6 health, 4 fight, 2 evade. There we go. So let's bring out the other agenda. Time is running short. It certainly is. Time is running short. The minutes pass quickly as your investigation continues. Resign. You don't want to risk taking too long. So yes, we've only got 8 goes to go, and we're not finished yet because we've got to draw from the encounter deck. And the encounter deck has another Crypt Chill. No, not another one. Oh no. No. What? What are we gonna... Well, let's see. 3 versus 4. Oh, that's all a fail. Okay. So what are we going to get rid of? We don't get rid of another Malign Christopher. Magnifying glass is really helping. Machete is essential. It's going to have to be the Harking Boots, even though it's giving us this extra movement. Unfortunately, it's going to have to one that goes, which is really unfortunate, but there it is. Ah, lost your boots. Ha, 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 ha. There we go. Oh, dear. Okay, let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Vincent. Okay, so now we've got a couple of choices here. We could stand and fight the Masked Hunter. We could do that. He's a 4 fight, and we're fighting at a 4 as well with the machete. But we've only got vicious blow, unfortunately, because we were dealing with the other monster before. So this would, if we succeeded, which would only be a 3, 4, 5 versus 4, we would do 3 points of damage. But he's 6, so we're really not in a position to do that. So I think the best thing to do is evasion at this stage. So the first thing we're going to do is evade the Masked Hunter. So he's a 2 and we are a 1 because we lost our Harking Boots. But we can make that a 2, a 3. We can make that a 3 versus 2. Maybe we make that a 4 versus a 2. Oh, I hope this works. 4 versus 2. Yep, let's see how we go. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. Thank God it succeeded, but we used a lot of resources. Evaded the Masked Hunter. Where have you gone? Okay, and then I think we move. Do we move that way or do we move back to north side? Doesn't really matter. Let's move to East Town. What have we got here? Reduce the, okay, no, that doesn't, okay. So we've got 1 action left. Getting low on cards, aren't we? But maybe we should get this clue. Oh, we should, yeah, actually, sorry. Let's do 2 clues and let's bring out another cultist because we mustn't lose sight of what we're supposed to be doing here. And we bring out Wolfman Drew. Okay, Wolfman Drew. So again, not the best because well, we can't get at him for a start, and secondly, fighting him is not really set up for that at the moment. So we've got 2 cultists on the board and neither of them. So I think the thing is to get some more clues, which we will do next time, but also we need to keep moving because the Masked Hunter will start moving as well. So this has really been quite a frustrating scenario. It's been very difficult. We've gotten cultists which have been difficult for us to deal with. And we've had a whole lot of ways we've been stymied. The good news is we've got a couple of victory points. So there we go. So yeah, so we evaded the Masked Hunter, we moved to East Town, and then we brought out another cultist. Okay, let's move into the enemy phase. Enemies don't do anything. Let's move into upkeep, and we get another dissection tools. Okay. Okay, first Doom is down. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and it's another Hunting Night Gaunt. Oh, no. Oh, boy. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Okay. All right, let's move into the investigation phase 3 actions. On to Vincent. Now, again, we are not in a position to evade. So I think we've got to try and kill this Hunting Night Gaunt. So let's go ahead and do a 4, a 5, a 6. A 6 on a 3. We are 3 up. And if we succeed, we won't kill it, but we'll be close. Let's see how we go. Chaos Bag gives us a -3, so we do succeed just. Isn't that right? 4, 5, 6. Yep, we succeed. And we do 3 points of damage. Okay, that was our first action. Ooh. Second action, we will attack again, but this time we're only attacking at a 4 versus 3. So we're only 1 up. 4 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. We've been pretty lucky, actually, with Chaos Bag draws. So the Hunting Night Gaunt is gone. I wanted to get this clue, but I can't anymore. I really need to move to a river town to get away from the Masked Hunter. So there we go. That was frustrating. We've again wasted time. We got ourselves. We fought the Hunting Night Gaunt, and then we moved away. So next time we've got to get ourselves some more clues. And the obvious places are the graveyard, which would also give us some, yeah, anyway. But the problem is the Masked Hunter. So let's move into the enemy phase. The Masked Hunter moves, of course, to here. These guys don't move. So we move into upkeep, and we get on the mend. Commit to a test you are performing. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's move into the Mythos phase 2 down, and we still don't have any cultists. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and it's got Obscuring Fog attached to your location. This location's foggy, and it's got locked doors. Oh my goodness. Okay, investigation phase 3 actions. Okay, we need more clues. Because we don't really have the capacity to deal with Ruth Turner, and we don't really have the capacity to deal with Wolfman Drew. The obvious place is the graveyard. If we move in there, we can get the clues, but the problem is then is that the Masked Hunter will then move. Now, we've got this on the men, so 2, 3, 4... Yeah, we can probably evade the Masked Hunter. Possibly. And we could get some more cards. Otherwise, we're basically... The only other location is really south side. Otherwise, we're moving around. We can't really get back to East Town. It's a real pity we didn't get that clue. So we either go to south side, then the Masked Hunter would move down here. Then we would... But then we would be stuck as well because we don't want to go to St. Mary's Hospital. So we'd move to Miskatonic University, and then the Masked Hunter would get us anyway. So I think what we do is we move into the graveyard. Yep. So after you enter the graveyard, test 3. If you fail, take 2 horror or move to Rivertown. Well, we're just going to go 3 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. So we fail, but we can put horror onto... Oh, not a clue. We can put... Oh, come on. Get your keyboard right. Okay, we can put a horror onto there and a horror onto us. Not a problem. So we'll take the 2 horror. That was our first action. Second action, let's use perception. So that's giving us a 4, 5, 7 on a 1. So that's really high. And we get a -1. So we get the clue. We get a resource, plenty of resources. And we draw a card. I think you can only have 1 in your hand. So this goes set aside. Yep. And then let's go again. So we're 1 versus a 4, 5, 6. 1 versus a 6. Chaos Bag gives us a -3. So we succeed again. We get another resource. We've got so many resources, but no hyper awareness and no physical training now, so that's not quite worked. But we get a victory point. The crowd goes wild, so we've now got 3 victory points, and we've got enough clues to get another cultist. So, which is probably as much as we're going to get at this rate, I'm afraid. It's not looking great. Enemy phase, the Masked Hunter moves down to Rivertown. Then we move into upkeep, and there is hyper awareness. Well, that's actually come at a really great time. That's really come at a good time. All right, we'll move into the Mythos phase. 3 Doom are down. Let's see what the encounter deck has. Place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. Oh. Clues. Oh my goodness. So it's now gone to 5. He's a cultist, isn't he? Yeah. We are so running out of time now. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Oh, boy. It's just been such a frustrating scenario because every time we try and do things, we've just been stymied along the way. Very frustrating. I mean, that's the way it goes. Okay, let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions. On to poor old Vincent. First action, let's spend 2 and bring out hyper awareness. Oh, yeah. Second action, let's move into Rivertown. There you are! Third action, let's evade. So we are a 1. Let's make that a 2. Let's make that a 4. 4 versus 2. And then we're going to make it a 5 versus a 2. A 6 versus a 2. So 4 up. That's as best as we can do. We get an Elder Sign. Okay, so we get an Elder Sign, which means we succeed. Where have you gone again? He's a master of evasion, isn't he? Which means we can heal 1 damage. We don't have any damage to heal, though, unfortunately. But there you go. So we've just evaded. So there we go. So next time, hopefully we can get away from the Masked Hunter, who's back. There you are! Oh, we get the physical training. Now we get the physical training. Okay. Yeah, let's move into the Mythos phase. So 4, 5, 6. 6 of 8. Let's see what the encounter deck has. Hunting Shadow. You must either spend a clue or take 2 damage. Let's take the 2 damage, because we've got plenty of that. Yep. Okay, here we are in the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Vincent. Now, we've got a couple of choices here. We could, because 4, 5, 6, it's, you know, we've got a lot of time, but what we could do is, yeah, but we don't have enough resources, I don't think. 4, 4. Nah. No. I was thinking we could maybe stand and fight and get these down, but the problem is it costs 2 for physical training, and then we wouldn't have enough resources. If we had more resources, we could then fight the Masked Hunter, get the victories, but it's just going to take too long, and it just feels like it's not going to work. So I think the best thing to do is to... So we could evade the Masked Hunter. That's easy enough to do because we can do a what? Yeah, we can evade him. So then he's evaded. We could then spend the 2 clues to see where the cultist is and what the cultist is. And then we can decide what to do once we know. Because the other alternative is we evade, but then we'll use all this up, so we won't be able to bring out the physical training. So that's fighting the Masked Hunter is not something that's going to happen. Okay, so let's evade first of all. So 2 versus a 1, 2 versus a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 versus 6. Chaos Bag is a -1, so we more than succeed. Where have you gone again? Constantly evading. That's the first action. Second action, let's spend the 2 clues. Who do we get this time? Let's see who we get, and we get good old Peter Warren. Great. Well, that's kind of great, but the problem is we need 2 clues for Peter Warren, or we fight Peter Warren. Because he's only a 2, and we are a 4. So we could move in, or how many clues would there be at Southside? 1 or 2? Why don't we move down to Southside and see? Hold on. So either we move in and just take a hit from Peter and then just kill him. If we go here, yeah, but we're really risking it, because if we go here, are there 2? I don't remember if there's 2 clues or not. Then we've got to get the 2 clues, and we're literally 1 away, because this is 4, 5, 6. It'll be 5, 7. So I think the only way is to really make sure this happens is to engage Peter Warren and then spend the last turn killing Peter Warren and getting another cultist. Yeah, that's the safest option. I can't remember how many clues you have at Southside. I can't remember if it's 1 or 2. But even if it is 2, you would then have to do 2 successful investigations. Then no, there's not enough time. No, you can't do it. So let's just stick to it. I'm curious now. Is it 2 or 1? It's 1. I thought it was. Anyway. Okay, so there we go. So basically we just evaded the Masked Hunter, we brought out Peter Warren, and then we've moved to Miskatonic University. So at our last turn, we will machete Peter Warren to death, and that's where we will end it. Enemy phase, no enemies do anything. Upkeep, the Masked Hunter is back. Okay, let's move into the Mythos phase. 5, 7 Doom are down. Literally 1 away from it all finishing. This is the last chance saloon. Here we go. Let's move. Let's see what the encounter deck has. And the encounter deck has an Acolyte, Okay, let's put the Acolyte at the house with a doom. Doesn't matter. It's all over anyway now, so yeah, that's just a nothing. Okay, here we go. Final thing. Final turn. 3 actions. On to Vincent. Here we are with Peter Warren. Let's go ahead and bash Peter Warren with the machete. So first action, we are a 3. We are a 4. 4 versus 2. We are a 4 versus 2. Let's make that, might as well make it a 6 versus a 2. Why not? Chaos Bag gives us another Elder Sign. Oh my goodness. So we can heal 1 damage. Yay. And I think we can put, that doesn't matter now. Oh, add 1 of your set aside on the men's skills to that investigator's hand. I always thought it was in the deck. Oh, I'm not even reading this right. Oh my goodness, it's into the hand. No. Hold on. Yes. Heal, add 1 of the set aside on the men's skills to that investigator's hand. Oh, I don't know why when I read it, I was thinking into the deck, but it's actually into your hand. Anyway, never mind. Okay, second action, let's fight again. Same thing. And we succeed. And that's Peter Warren dead. Ah! So Peter Warren is in the victory display. We've got 1 turn left, so we resign. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 victory points by turn 12. Yeah, that was quite a frustrating game. Yeah, we seem to be stymied at every turn by just cards and things that were happening. And unfortunately, the cultists that we did get were not the cultists that we needed. We got crit chilled, all kinds of things happened. So it really was quite frustrating, but we got 1 cultist at least, and we got a reasonable number of victory points. So that wasn't too bad. Yes, I realized, and I'm sure you all knew, that actually with those Elder Sign effects, I should have been putting on the men's skill on the mend into my hand, not into the deck. So that was a little error on my part. I'm not great on details like that, but I don't know why, but I'd read it as in the deck, but I don't think it would have made very much difference. So there we have it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, next time in the Investigator Games, we will take the Guardian from the Scarlet Keys. And the Guardian is, yes, Carson Sinclair. Yes, Carson Sinclair. We will take him through the Midnight Masks and we'll see how he goes. But until then, I'm Krabby Terror 8. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.